All right, Andrew, you ready on your end?
Yes, I'm good to go.
Awesome. Uh, we can do some introductions and we'll kick off here.
Yep, sounds good.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. So, hello everybody. Thank you guys for joining us for the Rules Informational. I am Andrew. I am one of the admins for Camp ZST 2024, and that's me. Uh,
He's also president of Infection Out Labs,
oh,
which is the nonprofit that's like like backing this event. Um,
that's right.
Very modest of you. Hi everyone, my name is Kayla Wood. I am an event admin slash coordinator for Camp ZST, and I am super excited to be here and doing this rules presentation. Don't judge my presentation. I worked really hard on all of the graphics. So did Andrew. So we will take your applause at the end.
All right. Thank you guys for coming along. Tonight we're gonna go ahead and cover the rules, and we'll answer some questions. If you guys do have questions, make sure to just record the slide number down in the bottom right corner and then hold on to the question till the end, and we'll hit them all in a row, and then we'll get everybody taken care of. Sounds good? All right. If you need to, this will be shared later, and right up at the front here is the link to the rules as well. So, everybody, welcome. Here's what we're going to cover. We're first going to do Rule 0, which is, safety, respect for admins, players, property, etc. Then we'll do an overview for the event, which is where and how play happens. After that, we're going to go through gear and mechanics, and then we're going to go through stuff about the Discord bot, which is how tagging and faction control happens. Then we'll be doing through the missions and how to use the web app, and then we'll go through upgrades to expand everybody's capabilities, that sort of thing.
Okay, so consequences of breaking the rules. We're having this informational because we want you guys to understand the rules. This is for two primary reasons. First, to keep everybody safe. My objective for this weekend, first and foremost, is to keep everyone safe. And then secondly, to have a ton of fun. So we're going to follow the rules to make sure we stay safe and to make sure that we have fun. If you break the rules intentionally or by mistake, there could be consequences. It kind of depends on the severity of the rule that you break, right? So for minor rules, you might receive a warning. For repeat offenses, you may be benched and asked to just cool down for a little while. And for egregious offenses, you are going to be dismissed from the game without a refund, okay? We are not trying to scare anybody, but we are not trying to set a tone of punishment. But this game only works if we follow the rules and if we stay safe. Okay, so Rule Zero is like our guiding light in HVZ. It's been around for literally 2 decades at this point. Not 2 decades, a decade at this point. I'm not that old. Don't be a jerk, okay? We're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. And the question I want you to ask yourself is, would you talk to somebody at Starbucks the way you just talked to a player or an admin? If the answer is no, don't say it like that to a player or admin, right? We are here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. Don't be jerks to each other. Please follow all directions given to you by admins, but also if you receive directions from park rangers or law enforcement at any point during the game, please follow their directions. Again, they are likely there to keep you safe, and us as admins, we are there to keep you safe and to make sure that you have a fun time. Regarding your safety, please promote your own personal safety. We are going to be out in the woods. We are going to be a bit in a state park at a camp, right? Which means ambulatory services are not, just a hop skip down the road. Okay, this is not the place to try your parkour skills that you have not practiced in over 10 years, right? So do what is within the means, of your abilities. On that note of safety, don't do any excessive climbing, and then don't do any drugs or alcohol while at the camp. You can do that in your own time somewhere else. And finally, please follow all federal, state, and local laws. If you break a law, we probably are going to call the police, and it's going to be a really unfun time for everybody. So please don't do that.
So, where are we going to be playing? We're going to be at the Babbler Outdoor Education Center, which is a campground, and it's going to be a closed camp. We've got exclusive use of it over the weekend. and it's mostly going to be green space, but there is one parking lot and one road attached to it. The parking lot will be in play, so please be careful. It will only be our cars there, so ostensibly we won't have to worry about people driving through the parking lot while we're playing, but the road is a different story. We'll also be able to play indoors and outdoors, so we'll be all over the buildings and all the furniture and those, that kind of thing. And also throughout the trees and the underbrush is all going to be in play. Please make sure that you're not climbing on top of the buildings or structures. Don't move the super heavy furniture in the dorms or the buildings. Please don't climb trees unless you know exactly what you're doing. We're going to try not to get anybody killed here. Please don't trample through the vegetation or cut down healthy live plants or litter. Don't make like rock towers for trails or anything like that. It's not that deep in the bush. So, we want to make sure that we're respecting the nature, and we also want to make sure that at the end we leave no trace and leave it better than we found it. As for places where we won't be playing, there will be areas marked by caution tape. First, we'll start off with the admin pit. Players will be out of play while they are in the pit, but only players who need something from the admin pit should be in there. Don't bring your friends with you. Have them wait outside. And during non-play times, such as overnight or that kind of thing, there will be no entry into the admin pit. And then also make sure that you're not playing inside of cars. You will be out of play if you are at least 1 foot in your car. That is for safety of people's property and their persons. It's not meant to keep you safe in the game. So don't use it. Don't abuse it, I will say. Also, public roads, specifically Lake Road, is going to be right next to the parking lot. We want to make sure nobody is playing in that area. There will be no objectives or gameplay in that area, so don't go into the road. There will be a couple of ponds and bodies of water around. There will be no need for you to move into the ponds. You can play around them, but do not jump in. And if you fall in, just get out as quick as possible. So there will be one set of restrooms in the dining hall, as you can see in the top right corner, that will be out of play. There will also be an area around those restrooms that will be out of play. So make sure that you are only in those areas when you're ready to be out of play. And then there will also be certain people have tents with them on camp. Make sure that you're not going into people's tents without their express permission. And remember that you can't play in tents either. So as for more of the non-play zone explanation, there will be 2 types of barriers. There will be caution tape. That's the yellow. Players will not be able to enter across that at all. And then there will be warning tape, as you can see on the bottom. That is going to be barrier tape, and only humans are barred from entering that. So that's going to be more of a gameplay mechanic, and you'll see it around. There will also be painter's tape. It'll be used to designate areas like the dining hall no play zone, and then the admin pit as well. But other than that, it should be well explained on what it's going to be used for. So, as always, but especially here, do not touch anything that is not yours, whether it's somebody's property or their person or their clothes or their car or anything. Just don't touch it if it's not yours. We don't want anybody's stuff getting stolen or messed with, and the best way that you guys can help with that is to not put gameplay elements in or around your personal belongings. Anybody's stuff gets stolen or messed with or damaged, IFNT cannot be held responsible for that. Please just keep your important valuables out of the gameplay area and put them in your car or in a tote or in a backpack or keep them with you. Just don't hurt other people's stuff and don't put your stuff in a position to be hurt.
Okay. Oh, actually, this is still your slide.
Still me.
My bad.
That's okay. She's raring to go. So, in the event of inclement weather, we will be playing. The game will happen, rain or shine. But of course, that doesn't quite extend to dangerous weather like lightning, tornadoes, flash flooding, anything like that. During severe weather, there is a storm shelter underneath the pool, right in the center of camp, as you can see. It is on one of the short edges of the pool foundation, and we will be calling a pause on the game anytime that inclement weather happens, and we will notify players in the Discord chat and verbally throughout the camp.
Okay. So I'm going to go through what's going to happen at check-in. So check-in is going to happen from 3 to 6 p.m. on Friday, August 23rd. This will happen in the admin building. And what you're going to do is you're going to walk into the admin building. You are not going to bring your blasters, but you are going to bring confirmation that you have bought your ticket. You're going to walk into the admin building. There will be lovely people to greet you, and they will confirm that you have done all of your required paperwork, which includes buying a ticket, signing a waiver, registering via the Discord bot so that you're a registered player in the game, and then that you attended an informational, either this one or the one that's going to be held on Sunday. Okay. If you do not have all of those things completed, they will kindly tell you they cannot check you in, and then they'll direct you either to an event admin who can help you out, or they'll point you to the website where you can go to do your waiver or find the directions on how to join via Discord. If you have any questions about registration, please ask us ahead of time so that you can make your check-in process easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. On the note of all of those things, though, you must have a ticket and you must buy it in advance. Tickets do close on the 18th. We are required to have a head count, both for the camp's information and then as well as us, so that we make sure we are preparing enough supplies. Nobody wants to show up and then not have food when we said that we were going to feed you over the course of this weekend. After you do player check-in, you will then head back to your vehicle and grab all of your blasters that you would like to play with during the weekend, and you will go to the dining hall to do your blaster check-ins. That's where you're going to get every single blaster that you think you want to use approved, as well as any throwables that you would like to use during the game. Finally, if you are late, if you do not make it between the 3 and 6 p.m. window, that is okay. You will still be able to get your player checked in and your blasters checked in. However, you will have to wait in the non-play area of the dining hall until event admins have time, as we will be running missions starting at 7 p.m. And we cannot guarantee that we're going to have somebody free immediately as soon as you arrive. So do expect to have to wait until we have time to check you in. Do not check out. Andrew, there you go.
Sorry, hit a bunch of buttons. My bad.
There we go. Okay. Upon checking out, this will happen Sunday in the morning/early afternoon. We will first all be required to do cleaning around the camp. This is going to be things like sweeping, wiping down toilets, that kind of stuff. Everybody is required to help with cleaning. It's part of the deal we get with being at this particular camp. Admins will you guys off into groups and assign tasks, and then everybody is to help dart sweep, because I expect there to be a ton of darts by the end of this weekend. Official player count will be from 11:30 to 12 unless they finish cleaning earlier. You do need to check out with an admin. We are not able to leave the camp until we know that every body has since departed the camp. If you ever decide to leave camp during the weekend, please just pop a message in a Discord. We know that you are not on camp, especially if there is an emergency. We want to be able to provide an accurate head count to first responders. Finally, if you need to leave before the end of the event, that's not a problem, but you do need to notify admins at least 2 hours before your intended departure time so that we can assign cleaning tasks to you. You will be out of play while you are doing these cleaning tasks, even if other people are playing, and then after you finish them, you will check out. This is, again, to make sure that everybody is participating in the cleaning and nobody's eking out early Sunday morning because they don't want to go sweep one of the dorms. All right. In case you're curious about meals, this is our meal plan for the weekend. Dinner will be at 5 p.m. in the dining hall. There will be pizza for everybody who is on time for check-in. We will have a continental breakfast starting at 8 a.m. Saturday. We will have a Panera or St. Louis Bread Company catered lunch at 1, and then we will have a Qdoba catered dinner at 7. And then the following morning on Sunday, we will again have a continental breakfast. At the start of every mealtime, there will be a brief window where everybody is safe who is inside the dining hall. By safe, I mean you're not stunning each other and you're not tagging each other. The minimum time frame will be 15 minutes, but that could change. These times will always be announced via Discord with some buffer to when the meal is started, but we will aim to keep to this schedule as close as we can.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of general safety. First, make sure that you're controlling your momentum as you're moving through the game, and just ensure that you're being safe. That, of course, is the top priority. If you get hurt really bad, then this might be your last HVZ game, and we don't want that. It's going to get kind of dark when you're playing at night, so make sure that you have a flashlight or a lamp or anything like that. Just make sure that it's not mounted to your blaster, just to avoid people being blinded by the flashlights. As for lasers, they are allowed. They may be mounted on blasters. Please do your best to avoid dazzling players with lasers. If we start getting complaints of people getting blinded by lasers multiple times, we're just gonna have people take them off. And this is our first time trying out lasers. Please don't mess it up. Be very careful with them and make sure that everybody's having an enjoyable time. If you happen to run into non-players during the event, which is unlikely but still possible because while we have exclusive use of the camp, the rest of it is just a state park, make sure that if you have a face covering on, you take that off and you identify yourself, and make sure they're not worried about, danger. And if it's a law enforcement or park ranger, do all of those things, ensure that you're safe, and then contact one of the event admins, and we'll pause play and talk to them. Speaking of pausing, we will every now and then set a pause on the game by yelling pause or saying pause. We'll also put it in the Discord, that kind of thing. During a pause, do not move unless instructed to by us. Don't drop or move objectives, don't reload, don't work on your missions. The game is not happening at that time, so try not to abuse that. There are other ways that you can leave the game. Specifically, you'll have to move to the out of play zone that we mentioned in the dining hall, and then set down your objectives, notify an admin that you're there, and then remove your bandana and go out of play. And obviously, if it's an emergency, just notify the admins and do what you need to do. Don't have to take all of that extra time. Just be safe. Whenever you're ready to re-enter play from that out of play zone, just let an admin know, put your bandana back on, and then re-enter. Once you leave that out of play zone, you'll still be in play, or you'll once again be in play even while you're still in the dining hall. So just be ready. And you have to be active and in play to interact with the game. Don't do any objectives, don't do any missions or anything like that while you're out of play for any reason.
Okay, we're going to talk about player gear. First, we're going to start about the stuff you absolutely have to have, and then we're going to talk about things that I highly recommend that you have. So a player ID is in that picture on the top right is a gray printed dog tag. If you bought your ticket before August 1st, if you bought your ticket afterwards, you will still have an ID. It might not just be a super cool customized one. If you are playing as a human, you will get an orange human ID tag, and then every human will also get a white perk ID. You will receive those upon successfully checking in your player when you show up and arrive at the camp. If you are a zombie, you will not receive the human ID and the perk ID. Everybody must have eye protection. We highly recommend safety glasses that you would find at like a Home Depot or a Harbor Freight. You may choose to wear sunglasses, and that is okay for eye protection, but we do recommend that you wear safety glasses. And finally, you must have a bandana, and it must contrast with your hair, your skin, your clothes, hats, anything that the bandana is going to be laying against. It must contrast with that. Now, we highly encourage that everybody bring Nerf blasters or other brands of foam blasters because that's going to make playing human a lot more fun. We also recommend bringing throwables or rolled socks. Everybody should definitely bring a water bottle with them. It is going to be August in Missouri. It is going to be very hot and very humid. And speaking of hot and humid, it is going to be a bug fest, especially if you leave the cleared areas of the camp and go into the more wooded spaces. There will be plenty of bugs. There will be a lot of ticks. So we highly recommend bug spray, tick spray. I would also wear tall socks, long pants, hiking boots, depending on how much like in the woods you want to be playing. I'd also recommend bringing sunscreen, running shoes. Make sure you bring some sort of light source with you, like a flashlight, a lamp, a lantern. And a pro tip, I would also bring a clean, fresh set of clothing and shoes for the drive home, especially anybody that has a long drive home. There's nothing worse than being stuck in like really gross shoes on your ride home. So I would recommend bringing fresh clothes just for driving home in. Speaking of player gear and clothes, everybody must wear clothes that covers their chest, their groin, and their buttocks. First of all, there is going to be a ton of bugs out on this camp, so you're going to want to wear clothes just to protect yourself from that. But also, here at Infection Out Labs, we like to promote a more family-friendly atmosphere, so please wear appropriate clothing, even though I know it's going to be hot. Costumes, face masks, and face painting is totally allowed. We just ask that if you have anything covering your face, that if somebody calls out to you and they want to know who you are, that you go ahead and remove it and identify yourself. You are allowed to wear chest rigs and tactical gear. However, it's very important that you do not leave the boundaries of the camp while you are in your gear. We do not want to scare anybody who is visiting the state park. We don't want them to think that there's anything dangerous going on. You know, we're just here playing a game. So please, if you're going to leave the camp, please go ahead and take off some of your more realistic looking gear so we don't frighten anybody who might be enjoying the state park. This is a list of banned items very quickly. You are not allowed to have whistles because event admins may have whistles, and we want that to be a unique identifier when we are trying to get your attention. Also, you are not allowed to bring firearms or weapons. No alcohol, no drugs, no fireworks. If you have any questions about these banned items, you can come and ask us, but the full detailed list is in the rules. All of it's pretty common sense, but let me know if you have questions.
All right, with all of that clerical stuff out of the way, let's get into the mechanics. So, a lot of you have played HVZ before, but anybody who hasn't, humans use Nerf blasters and throwables in battle, and they have to shoot and or stun zombies. All they have to do is survive all the missions without getting tagged. But they can be wounded, and when you're hit by a spore, which we'll talk about later, there's a couple steps you have to take. First is freeze. Don't move. Second is empty one hand and raise it above your head and keep it there. Then, after that, you can start moving around again. That wound is removed on the rolling respawn timer, and then you can go back to using that hand and holding things in it. By the way, humans wear the 3 ID tags we mentioned earlier and a bandana around their bicep. Make sure that it's on your bicep. As for zombies, all they have to use is their hands to tag and turn humans. They'll wear their player ID and their bandana around their forehead. Their only objective at the end of the day is to turn all humans into zombies, although you may find some more out on the field. Zombies can be stunned by contact with any ammo or melee from a human. When you're stunned, you cannot interact with a player or any objective, and you have to stay away from any active players. During that time, you have to pull your headband off or put it around your neck. You can't just hold your hand up like certain other games. However, once you're stunned, there are ways to respawn. First, there will be a rolling respawn timer, and this will be on a certain number of the clock, such as on the 5s or the 10s, etc., will indicate what the rolling respawn timer will be in-game. There's no cooldown for a rolling respawn, so if you happen to get stunned 10 seconds before the rolling respawn timer goes off, you're right back in the game 10 seconds later. Just make sure that anytime you're respawning, you have to be 30 feet from any human. That's only for the rolling respawn, though. Try not to get greedy with that spacing. Admins always have the option to change that to be even longer if we think that people are trying to edge out a little bit of a foot or an inch here or there. Just make sure that it's 30 feet or more, and we shouldn't have any issues. There's another way to respawn, though. There will be beacons all around camp at certain areas, there will be up to 3 respawn beacons available at certain times. They will be, as you can see in the bottom right corner, a box with some rope and some string lights on them. Those lights must be on in order to be a respawn beacon. Otherwise, it's just a box. The zombies are allowed to place this on the ground after getting it from an admin, and then they can tie the attached rope to get the box closed and make it difficult to untie, which the humans will have to do in order to access that light, turn off the switch, and then disable the beacon. Once a beacon is disabled, the zombies actually cannot turn the lights back on. They have to take that beacon back to the admin zone, and maybe they'll earn another one later. Humans, there are plenty of places for zombies to spawn, but if they happen to get stuck in a corner, please do not spawn camp them. We're all trying to enjoy ourselves here, and we know that zombies will not, and maybe you won't really even enjoy yourself if you're stuck spawn camping a zombie.
Okay, I'm not going to go through this table. You all have eyeballs and you can read it, but we have different averages and hard caps for different types of ammo. What the average means is that when you do your blaster check-in, you will do a series of 5 shots per blaster per ammo type that goes with that blaster. And the average has to be below that number. So in that first row, the full length, half length, rifle, and ultra, which is probably going to be 80 or 90% of you, the average has to be below 120 FPS. And then any single shot fired in that series of 5 cannot be above 130. All shots must be below a cap of 130. Bows, arrows, slingshots, blowpipes, potato cannons, none of those things are allowed here at this event. In addition, extra hard ammo that doesn't compress, modded ammo, and hyper is not allowed at this event. Blasters should have no sharp or rough edges. We are a game where people are going to be tagging you, so there should be nothing sharp on your blasters or your gear that could cut someone's hand when they go in for a tag. And additionally, all blasters must have an orange tip. We are being more lenient with paint jobs this time since we are at an exclusive event. It's okay to have more realistic colors, but you do still need to have the orange tip at the front of your blaster.
Is orange tape okay?
Is an
If you
orange
can
tip
stick over
okay?
it?
Yeah, the tip of your blaster just needs to have an orange. So that could be like an orange barrel, or like some blasters just naturally come with orange at the very front. If you don't want to paint your blaster orange at the tip, you can use something like orange tape or anything like that. Okay. Speaking of blasters, in this game, we have categorized them into 3 different types: single shot, mechanical, or electric. A single shot blaster is a blaster that is mechanically primed and fired, meaning using human power and some kind of mechanical device. And you must reload after every single shot. So as an example, a jolt, right? You put the dart in, you prime it, you fire it, and then you have to go and get a different or a new dart and do the whole thing again. Okay, that is a single shot blaster. A mechanical blaster must be primed and fired by human power and mechanical devices, so no batteries, no electrical wiring. But it may have more than one shot available to it. As an example, a hammer shot that has the 5-round cylinder, or a rampage, which uses like a 6-round stick mag. Okay, and then finally we have electric. So this is a blaster that is primed or fired by electrical components such as batteries and wiring. If you have a blaster that lights up or makes sound when you prime or fire, but the priming and firing mechanisms do not use any electronics, that does not get counted as an electronic blaster, okay? So only the priming and firing is what denotes it as electronic. There will be color-coded zip ties that unlock these different blasters, right? So there will be a color for single shot, a color for mechanical, and a color for electric. All right, and the way that you will unlock your blasters is by finding or acquiring one of these zip ties and then putting it on the appropriate type of blaster. Okay, if you find an electric blaster tie, it has to go onto an electric blaster. Similarly, if you find a single shot blaster tie, you cannot go and put it on a mechanical or an electric. Next, we have ammo loading components, or ALCs. An ALC is a magazine, a cylinder, a hopper. It's anything that you put rounds into that you then attach or connect to a blaster to then fire those rounds. Okay. ALCs might be internal to the blaster, such as an Artemis or a Kronos, or an ALC might be external, like a Rampage with a stick mag. If an ALC is integrated into the blaster, you will need an ALC tie to unlock it, and you'll affix it to the blaster itself. If an ALC is external, like a magazine, you will secure the ALC tie to that device, that in that case, that stick mag. Once you secure an ALC tie, it cannot be transferred to another ALC, okay? Single shot blasters do not require an ALC tie because they're a single shot kind of system. And one ALC tie is good for up to 25 ammo capacity. So if you have a Nerf Hades, which is 60 round capacity, you need 3 ALC ties, okay? 3 times 25 is 75. 75 is greater than 60, so you need 3 ALC ties to use your Hades. The reason for this kind of tie system is we want to replicate a kind of survival-esque game where you would go out and find supplies, right? Like you might find a gun in a zombie shooting game. However, we do not want to take your personal blasters and your magazines and all of that and go put it out in the universe for then anybody in the game to go find and use. They might use it inappropriately, they may not know how to use it, and also you probably just don't want other people touching your stuff. So in lieu of taking your guys' equipment and hiding it out for you to then go find, we are instead hiding these zip ties, or you will get these zip ties as mission rewards, which will then be able to go back to your own stash of blasters and magazines and so forth and unlock them throughout the game. Throwables are anything soft and squishy that are less than 5 inches in diameter that you intend to use. They must compress. You are going to throw these at people. So a baseball is by no means a throwable because that would hurt real bad. The most common throwable that people like to use is socks. Socks must be clean, empty, and rolled up into some kind of ball, round-esque shape. No more than 50% of it can be covered in tape or Velcro, and if you choose to use Velcro, it must be the fuzzy side of the Velcro. Most importantly, all of your throwables do need to be compressible, and if you have a particularly strong throwing arm, we may ask that you practice throwing when you do your blaster checks with your throwables. If we get reports that you guys are beaming each other with the socks, we're going to have to do something about that. So if you do have a strong throwing arm, please remember you are throwing these at people and not at things. Okay, to start the game, humans are only going to be able to have a single shot blaster, and you will be provided a single shot tie upon doing your blaster check-in, and then any throwables or socks that they want to use. Okay. Additional blaster ties and ALC ties will be made available during the game. So you'll either be able to go find them out in the game world or you will earn them for completing missions. Okay, but to start the game, you're only going to get single shot blasters and throwables.
All right, so let's get into how the game's going to progress here. A lot of this is going to have to do with tagging. So zombies will be the ones tagging. And a tag, by the way, is an open palmed touch with the hand. No punching. Please don't punch people. And don't backhand them. Tagging anything on a player, including their clothes or their gear or their cape or whatever counts. Don't tag people in inappropriate areas. Obviously, mistakes happen. Do not do it on purpose. Thank you. Every time you're going for a tag, make sure you're controlling your momentum again. Don't tackle people. Don't slide into people. It's okay to slide. It's okay to dive, but don't take somebody out with it. We're not trying to hurt people, and it's really not that important. The tag. Safety is important. We mentioned restrooms and tents that were out of play earlier. The out-of-play restroom in the dining hall will be out of play. You can't tag people in there. And also, players should not be going into restrooms or tents to tag people. However, if you tag the outer surface of a tent or perhaps the curtain or doorway covering a restroom, that will tag any person or multiple people who are inside of that tent or restroom.
To clarify, restrooms are in play. However, if a curtain is closed or a door is closed, it's safe to assume that there's probably somebody using the facilities. In that case, touching the curtain or stunning the curtain counts as a tag or a stun. However, if the curtains are open and there's somebody in there just like looking for objectives or hiding or whatever, that space is still in play.
Perfect, thank you. So after you've gotten a tag with your open palm touch, first thing to do is if you're a human and you've got a perk ID, you hand that over to the zombie. And then you are now out of play as a human, and you have to go high five the nearest active human to become active again. You have to go straight to the nearest human. Don't dilly-dally with this. Try and stay in play. That perk ID can be taken by the zombie and exchanged for upgrades. If the human does not have a perk ID upon getting tagged, then the human will give their orange human ID to the zombie, and that contains their code for the zombie to log the tag and turn them into a zombie. During that time, the human can drop off their gear at their car or somewhere else with their stuff, and they then turn zombie. Now, there will also be original zombies during this game, and they will have a slightly different ability off the start. So they will wear a purple penny to signify them, and when tagging, an original zombie can choose to ignore the perk ID that a human might have and just directly turn the human immediately. They can do this 2 times, and then after which the OZ has 2 choices. They can either return to being a human, or they can become normal zombies, and they can forfeit their ability and their purple penny as well. So then they won't have that direct tag ability anymore. As for logging a tag, we have a Discord bot named Zombrero, and he will help you handle tag logging. Speaking of the Discord bot, let's get into a couple of the commands that you can use with him. So first one, and the most important one, because that'll get you into the game, is registration. So all you've got to do is go to the game resources chat in the Discord. It's on the left side in the sidebar. Go to the game resources chat and hit that register button, and it'll take you to this little dialog box where you just enter your name and whether you want to be in the OZ pool. After you're done with that, you're registered for the game, and you get a nice little orange name. The next one is your player code, and this is a command that you can put into the command zone chat. We put it in the command zone chat specifically so that people can keep all of their commands in the same spot and keep from clogging up other chats or anything like that. In order to access your code, all you need to do is enter \code and then hit enter. This will not blast it out onto the airwaves for everybody. It'll just whisper it to you in a message, so no one else can see it. It's okay to use it right here. Just make sure that you don't share it of your own volition with people unless you want to get tagged. As for tagging, there's also a button for logging a tag. All you have to do is go to the report a tag chat, again in the sidebar, and hit that tag logging button. It'll take you to a different dialog box where you can enter the aforementioned code of the tag of the human that you just tagged, and the time will autofill, but you can change it if you want to be perfectly precise about it. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
And real quick, the report a tag chat is only visible once you are on the zombie team. If you are currently registered and you're a human and you can't find that chat, that is intentional. You're not able to log tags as a human.
Yep, that's right. There's also another way to log a tag if for whatever reason you don't have access to the button, or if the person who got the tag does not have their phone on them and they really want to log that tag quickly before they get back to their car. You can use a command in the command zone called tag create, and you just do \tag create, hit space in order to enter the member field, and then for the member, make sure that you enter the name of the zombie who got the tag, not the human who got tagged. It has to be the zombie who got the tag, and not you either. Unless you got the tag, sorry. Once you've hit enter on that, you'll enter into that same dialog box from before, and you just enter the tag code, just like normal, and it will then tag the human on behalf of the other zombie. So in this case, you can see me, WolfBale182, logging a tag on behalf of Lantrell, who ostensibly is a zombie at this point. And this should be sort of a last resort. Please try and use that button because it's so much easier and more seamless to do. But if you need to, you can use this method.
Okay. Main missions. Main missions are going to be big events that are generally going to be geared towards pitting the two teams together. Maybe at the beginning, it's going to be geared towards getting humans some of their fun blaster toys. I'm sure you guys are not going to want to be stuck with your single shots and socks the entire game. Briefings will be done in person. We will announce in Discord the time and location of when these missions and briefings are going to happen. Generally, after a briefing is complete, we will kick all the zombies out and get them out into the playfield, and then we will release humans soon after. Generally speaking, the area immediately surrounding where the briefing is happening is like a safe zone out of play, okay? But if you are not at the briefing, and let's say instead you're taking a nap in one of the dorms, you are in play while you are taking a nap and ignoring the briefing, okay? So it's only going to be the area right around where briefing is happening that we're going to discontinue play. Missions could end based on a certain amount of time. They could end only after an objective has been completed, or they could end if the players abandon the mission. So if more than 10 minutes pass and no individual player is actively working on completing the mission, admins will decide that mission has been abandoned by the players, and we will cut that mission off and move on to other things. When a mission ends, all players are still active. So there is no mission ends, game pause, none of that. So even though if you finish your mission, if you find the MacGuffin and you turn it in, you're still active, you're still in play. Zombies are still going to go and get you humans. Mission objectives. Oh, go ahead.
By the way, there will be debriefs after missions. They'll just be in the Discord, and you won't have to worry about sitting around waiting for admins. You'll get your debrief, but make sure that you keep yourself safe in the meantime.
Mission objectives will always be detailed and described during the briefing. We may flavorly describe it to you, but then we will also tell you in plain words what exactly it is that you're trying to do. And many objectives will also be marked with color-coded stickers, okay? If you see things out in the universe of this game that have a sticker on it, and you're like, ooh, shiny, do not pick it up unless you know exactly what mission it is for, okay? There are unfortunately a limited number of admins, and we don't live in video game land where when you start chat dialogue with townsperson number 1 that it auto-populates the objective you're supposed to go find. We're going to have to place a lot of things ahead of time to make sure the game keeps moving. So if you see something out there, but you don't know what it's for, you're not going to pick it up. You are more than welcome to make a mental note of the cool shiny thing that you saw, but you're not going to pick it up until you know exactly what mission it is for. For that reason, that is why we will always describe to you exactly what it is you are looking for. Side missions, not so big and grand, but they will be available, almost all of them at the very start of the game, and you can complete them whenever you desire. To access a side mission, you will first have to look for a mission ID card, which is pictured on the bottom left. Okay, these will be these little paper cards that have a person outline with a little speech bubble, and in the speech bubble will be a mission ID code, 4-digit code. Okay. You will then go to the Mission Finder app, which is available on the event website. And in the Mission Finder app, you will enter your 6-character player ID, which is where if you don't already have it, you can go to the command chat in Discord and you can do the /code and you can get your player ID that way. And then you will enter the mission ID and then you'll click the button Get Mission. What'll happen is it will bring up the mission title, the status of the mission, and then what you're supposed to do for the mission. Regarding the status, it will either be not started, in progress, or complete. It's safe to say that if a mission is marked complete, that means everything's already been done for it, and there's not going to be a reward if you try to do it too. Most side missions, if there is an objective that you have to turn into an admin, you're going to turn it in at the admin pit, and that is where you will get to claim your reward. Okay, and again, just like with main missions, there will be lots of objectives scattered around. They will have color-coded stickers on them. You see the bottom left cards, the orange, the purple, the green. So orange is for humans, purple is for zombies, green is for both. Stickers will follow that same color coordinating scheme of orange for humans, purple for zombies, and green for both. If you see stuff out in the game world, but you don't know what mission it's for, don't pick it up. Just leave it there. Chances are you'll either find the mission card if it's a side mission objective, or it's going to be later for a main mission and we'll tell you at that point. But please do not pick up objectives unless you know exactly what they are for. Speaking of picking up objectives, I want to remind everybody that objectives can only be carried in the hand. So you can only carry a max of 2, 1 per hand, okay? So even if you wanted to, don't go around and pick up a million things and stuff it in your pockets. That's not how we're going to play this event. If you find an objective that you want to pick up, you must pick it up and you must carry it in your hand.
All right, so now let's talk a little bit about some upgrades. There'll be a couple different types. There will be some upgrades that are going to be unlocked for anyone on the team to pick up or earn with their respective perk ID or something like that. There will also be upgrades that will only be directly available to the individual who completes the mission, and it'll be well designated which one it is. Whenever you are trying to acquire, exchange, an upgrade, make sure that you go to the admin pit and we'll take care of you there. And zombies specifically, make sure that you have that perk ID that you got from a human that you tagged, and make sure that the upgrade is unlocked prior to acquiring a certain upgrade. You'll need both of those things in order to actually earn an upgrade and start using it. As for humans, you'll have a couple of different options for upgrades. First, you'll have swords, your standard pool noodle and PVC sword, not too long, not too short. Please do not hit people with the PVC, that is not the tagging surface. However, the tagging surface of the noodle will stun zombies on contact, including if it touches a zombie's pool noodle. There will be no melee clashing in this game, except by gentleman's agreement. Another upgrade is the medic. Medics will have a red headband with a silver reflector supplied by Infectional. A medic can tag a human with 2 hands. If that human is wounded, they are then immediately unwounded. Just remember, you have to have 2 hands available, so if you, the medic, are wounded yourself, you may run into issues trying to use your ability. Another upgrade is the duffel bag. Now, we just talked about how you can only carry 1 upgrade per hand. This is the case for everybody except those carrying the duffel bag perk, or upgrade, I mean. Anybody holding the duffel bag can carry as many objectives as they can possibly fit in that bag, and they can move around with it just like normal. However, if you get wounded and you're wearing the duffel bag, you cannot take off the duffel bag. You have to empty the entire duffel bag of all objectives while you're frozen in place. So if you're using that duffel bag, you best make sure that you are in a safe spot if you get wounded. And finally, the last upgrade is a perk tag. Just like your normal perk tag that you get right at the very beginning of the game, you can earn more throughout the game, and they're basically just your extra lives. They are completely equivalent, whether it's the one you get at the beginning or ones you get right near the very end of the game. Any of them can be traded in any order to save you from being turned once. Now let's get to the zombie upgrades. We have 4 of them. The first is the werewolf. They have 2 half-length pool noodles. They will turn humans on hit, but they are stunned as long as they are ever hit by human ammo or melee. So they cannot be used as shields. That is left for the mummy. They'll have 2 shields, which can deflect ammo and melee attacks. However, those ricochets off of the shield can stun other zombies, so make sure that you are keeping your wits about you if you're behind a mummy. The third is the swamp thing. They will be wearing a yellow penny to signify them, and they'll have 2 of these little spore fellas. These will wound humans that they touch, as long as they're in the air or bounced off a wall. If they've ever hit the ground or anything like that, they will not be active anymore. Swamp things can retrieve their spores, and they can do so while they're stunned. However, they are not allowed to get in the way of humans or other zombies even, who are actively playing. So you'll have to wait for players to clear out if you've tossed it into an active group. And our last upgrade for the zombies is the vampire. They'll wear a red penny, and they can high five any active zombie to respawn as if by a beacon. So you remember the beacons with the purple lights where you just tag up and you respawn right on the spot. A vampire can do the same thing with an active zombie. However, this active zombie that they're tagging up with may not have any upgrade at all. They have to be completely upgradeless in order for the vampire to respawn on them this way. And that concludes our active upgrades that we'll be using this game.
One clarification on vampire is the vampire high fives an active non-special zombie, and the vampire is the one that is respawning. The vampire cannot respawn others. Okay, just want to make that extra clear.
Thank you. Good call.
Okay, this is our rules presentation. Now, in this presentation, we have just given you the highlights and tried to focus on the stuff that is going to be unique and a little different for Infectional Labs Camp ZST game. Everything that you need to know, all of the rules are available on the rules doc, which is available at the event website. You can find the event website by going to the game resources chat. The link is there, and that has every single thing you need, how to get tickets, how to register, the rules, waivers, all that jazz. So please make sure that you actually read the full rules document before you show up to ZST. There's a lot more nuanced and detailed information that's likely to apply to you in some form or fashion. So please make sure to read that document.